All right, so this is the right track with Brad, and today we got the Wentz brothers. We got Luke and Logan, and then in the middle, breaking the two brothers apart, is Nate, and we're just gonna be talking about anything we want. So, I know the biggest thing, or the first thing that you noticed was I was wearing the Celtics jersey because I went to a game a few years ago, and the Celtics are playing the Miami Heat right now, and you want Jimmy Butler because he was on the Bulls, and I do too, but I'm big into like wanting this huge comeback from 3-0 if they can do it. I think it'd be awesome if they could. It'd be cool to kind of witness it, but you feel strongly about.
I mean, you know, my least favorite team in the NBA is the Celtics. I despise them. I'm not a fan. And Jimmy Butler. I know Nate's on board with me.
Yes, yeah, we always have to root for Jimmy. He's from Chicago, dude.
I know, and I want that, but I mean,
no, you obviously don't, bro. You're wearing a Celtics jersey, so like you just like you don't.
If I had Heat jerseys, bro, we're coming in hot.
Brad,
don't want it.
What would make the better story? The Celtics coming back from being down 0-3, or the Heat, the 8 seed?
Yeah,
beating the
exactly.
You had a 3%
It actually
chance of
would.
beating
It actually, I would rather have the Heat win, but this is the only like merch I have, and it's like I want to wear like the NBA.
That's valid.
merch to
That's
support.
Sure.
But yeah, because like if the Heat are gonna make it to the finals, I want them to win the whole thing, you know.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
if the
they're
Celtics,
going to.
They will. Yeah.
They're going.
They're
going
They
to.
can't win the whole thing if they don't beat the Celtics, though. So.
yeah.
Well, that is how that works.
Yeah, it is. So we have to root for them, you know.
But no, I've been seeing people on Twitter post about the Heat talking about how Miami Heat are disgrace if they lose this like lead. They're like, I'd rather not make the playoffs at all than lose to the Celtics in a 3-0 comeback. I'm like, what? I think that I don't know.
I think that's a bad mentality.
I think it's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, I think so too. I want to see them make it all the way, you know, like.
I know. I'm like, as a Bulls fan, I'm like depressed always because we just are bad at basketball. So I don't know. I'd rather have us go to the conference finals than
not make it at all.
get knocked out of the play-in tournament. So
I mean, the only thing is that the Heat beat the Bulls to get to where they're at, and that's where I'm.
That's why I want the Heat to
That's
win,
like the
bro.
core reason where I'm like, okay, well, I'd rather just have the 3-0 comeback.
Really,
But-
I'm like the opposite because then if the Heat win it, I can be like, well, I mean the Bulls are basically champions.
Yeah.
I can just
Yeah.
I can just say it. So
But
I can
water
forgive
sip.
Jimmy.
bad time to start talking. Logan doesn't like Chicago teams.
It's not that I don't like Chicago teams. It's just they're not like good. Like, I don't like the Bears. They're musty. The Packers are better. I love the Bulls. Like, raised on the Bulls. Always a Bulls fan. The Cubs are musty. They're not very good. I honestly don't really care about baseball, so like I'm just gonna say that one.
Yeah.
Chicago Blackhawks, so overhyped. Not even a good team. Third worst in the league. Like, sorry, I root for good teams.
But
like,
there's like a loyalty aspect to it though.
like,
Not
like,
for
what do you
this
mean?
man. He has no loyalty right
No,
here.
please, like, okay. Here's what I'm gonna ask: how many times a week do you guys go to Chicago?
Every day.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
I probably
You
go
just don't see-
once every 2 months.
Yeah, I go like multiple times a week, so I don't want to talk
I
about.
I also
loyalty
live in
Chicago,
Phoenix
bro.
right now, so
I mean, I feel like I wanna like when I'm back in the summer, I wanna go like at least once a week. Like that's what I want to
You are
do.
back in the summer.
Yeah, so like that's what I want to do. I want to be going.
we're literally going to a Cubs game today, and Logan's gonna root for the other team. Like he literally just does it because he's just a hater. This is one thing I have noticed though, moving to Phoenix, is that sports fans are just not the same. Like I realized Chicago sports fans are just a different breed because people just like don't watch their favorite teams when they're bad, and that's like. I don't understand that. Like, what do you mean you don't watch them? Like,
So when the Suns were bad, they weren't watching.
right. So like, I talked to these one people when I first got out to Phoenix, and they were like, it was like when Devin Booker. It was after he dropped 70 and stuff. But, anyways, they still weren't that good. And I was talking to them. I was like, oh, dude, have you guys been watching the Suns this year? Like, they're looking like they're gonna be good. And they're like, oh no, we don't watch them. Like, last time we were ever good was Steve Nash. And I was like, so you haven't been keeping up at all? They're like, we don't know one on the team. And I was like, are you kidding? And these are like big like these people are legit basketball fans. Like they played basketball, like, and they're just like, we just don't watch them.
I feel like nothing's tied to it for them. You know what I mean? Like Chicago, it's like Michael Jordan was there. Like our parents watched them. Like there's history to it.
There's like a grit for Chicago sports
yeah.
fans that is like so respectable,
Right,
and I
yeah.
love it. I'm like ride or
Yeah.
die, no matter what. I don't know.
I feel like it's Chicago, Philadelphia, and New York are all like the best
Agreed.
sports fans.
Agreed.
That's what I would say.
I can
Maybe
agree.
Boston too, even though I'm not rooting for them.
Yeah.
They get everything for them. It's easy to be a
Yeah,
like
that's
sports
true,
fan up
yeah.
there because then you always win everything.
Yeah, dude, their teams are so good all the time.
I mean,
So-
the Patriots, Celtics, right?
Bruins.
The Red Sox, that's pretty stacked. But
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 like also for me, like I don't really like sports then. Like sports aren't like my biggest thing, so it's like I'm not like
Yeah.
data analysis. Like I don't really care.
Yeah, I was gonna
like,
say,
I
most
don't
people
watch
that,
a lot
like-
of games and stuff. So like when I say like I like a team, it's just because like my uncle liked them or something, and I just gotta
Right,
keep
right,
it
right.
with it.
Right. Because like I think most people are either like all in on sports or they're not. Like like for me, I'm so much more into NBA than like any other like sport. So like yeah, like I'm a Cubs fan, but do I really sit down and like watch all the baseball games? Like no, I'm not. I just don't do that. So I also don't go around saying like I'm a Cubs fan all the time. But if I were to pick a team, like yeah, I'd have to go for that. And then same thing for like the other point of view for the Bulls. Like yeah, like I am a Bulls fan, and I feel more comfortable saying that 'cause I'm actually like rooting for them like most of the time or all the time, compared to or like I'm watching them most of the time. So that's how I feel about that. But I wanted to talk a little about what we're gonna say.
I was gonna say, well, we're on your podcast, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know any of us.
Yeah.
So, Brad, you have to go through that. How do you know each of us? You have to give
This is what we should.
If you this is we're finding out if you actually remember our friendship from the day one. No, I'm just kidding. Just go
Okay.
for it.
Yeah. So well, Nate, me and because I've known you the longest.
Yeah.
We
Really?
were on the same basketball team. Okay. Well, yeah, IBA. That's what it's
IBA,
called.
I think we were 8 or 9, something like that.
Dang, really? I remember you had like you had a cast on because like you broke your arm or
Yeah,
something.
3rd grade. I broke
And-
my arm.
Yeah.
He's got like, the dates like in his memory. Like, for-
March 3rd, like
And I just remember like we're on the same team playing basketball, and I think the reason why we started like getting to know each other more, like parents wise, and then we just knew each other 'cause we were on the team, was
Right.
because we lived close to each other.
That's true.
And then we thought we were gonna go to the same junior high, but then we didn't because of the way the districts were made or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Because you went to Murphy,
Yeah.
which is like the other junior high. So yeah, and then obviously we did cross country all
Running.
through junior, or no, not junior, all through high school.
Right.
And then Luke, we've done high school cross country together. But before that, we raced each other in junior high, and was it like 6th or 7th grade was when I probably knew you.
7th grade.
I don't know if it was 6th. Yeah, I think it
Well,
was 7th.
I think I really knew because we knew each other in 7th grade.
Yeah.
I think 8th grade is when I started randomly walking up to you guys and just being like,
I remember like, who is this kid? Like, he's just walking up to us. Like he's the enemy. He's the opposing team.
I know. I don't know why I did that.
Well, I'm
either.
glad you did though,
'Cause-
because we were gonna be teammates in high school, and then we were.
I
so
know.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was just funny because I don't know what prompted me to do that because I like literally felt like I had a rivalry against you guys,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I just would go up to you guys and meet and be like, hey, like,
Mhm.
how's it going?
Yeah, I think that was really cool you did that though. And then I just knew Logan by association, so like, but even going to high school, that's when we started to get a little bit closer, and then now we like hang out a lot more, especially in the summer, which is fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the main things I think.
Right.
Dope.
And then I met you, Luke, in basketball, 8th grade year.
Yes, sir.
Also running, and also Logan was there too. And
I was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Association by everyone.
But you crafted your way into.
Yeah.
Because we're all in the same grade. So like, what are you like 2 years?
I'm a
1
year
year.
younger.
1 year?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're 1 year below. So like, we're all in the same grade and the same. We did cross country, and then you didn't do that. So that's how like we knew each other more.
You tried.
I tried.
It didn't work out.
Don't worry.
Yeah, that's fine. The running. Sometimes running is just tough. So,
Yeah.
but now he's getting gains at the gym.
Yeah, bro.
And I had long hair.
The
Oh
flow.
yeah, oh yeah.
I forgot to put mousse in it before I came. I was running late, so it's a
Oh.
little flat.
It's okay. The podcast viewers now they know it's not his best hair day.
Yeah.
How was it in Arizona though? Because you were there for basically 3 years.
Yeah.
For
Why were you in Arizona?
Dude, I went to college there in Phoenix, Arizona, at Grand Canyon University.
Hope so.
The school that no one believes is a real school because they just think it's online. No one knows we have an actual campus.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many ads on YouTube about it.
Yeah, wait, how many online students are there?
Over 50,000.
50,000?
That's
Oh, yeah.
At least 12.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's over 12, yeah.
yeah, it's over double our on-campus population. So we have like,
Dang, that doesn't even make any sense.
because we still have like 25,000 on campus, but it's like we have over 50,000 online.
That's
That's
actually
crazy.
Yeah, but it makes living on campus awesome. So like,
Yeah.
we got pools all around and dorms, apartments. Logan's come to visit me a couple times, so he knows. But we got fitness centers everywhere, and the weather's great. We get the best weather because we're just there for the school year, so
Right,
we
right.
dodge the summers.
Mm-hmm.
But
The dorms are really nice there, right?
yeah, very nice. Top 10 in the country. Best dorms. This is an ad for GCU actually as well. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
sponsored by
sponsored by
GCU. Sponsored by Grand Canyon University. I've also had tour guides, so the tour guide personality is gonna come out. Any fun facts that you guys want to know? We're not gonna talk about.
Or the made up facts.
Or made up facts that I'll share on my tour. I'm trying to think of some more good ones.
Yeah, that's really
Cats, right? They got a lot of cats.
They do have a lot of cats on campus. They're just roaming around.
And they just live outside, just
It's
Yeah,
just like
they just-
yeah,
so I
stray
think-
cats. Why is that the thing? You're like, oh yeah, they have lots of stray
Brad
cats.
likes cats.
No, but Nate's like, out of all the things, he's like, oh, they used to have a bowling alley, or like, they're a D1 school. He's like, oh, there's a lot of cats there.
Well,
Like,
it's true.
right.
I mean, it's actually
Yeah.
low-key a defining feature. Like, we started a club for the cats to take care of them. Yeah. And they, like, all the cats are vaccinated, like, have all their shots and stuff. Because, like, we don't want random, like, feral cats wandering around our
Yeah.
campus.
Wait,
But I
wait,
think
actually though, like they did that?
they literally, yeah, because there were so many cats on campus that GCU, like adopted them and, like, gave them shots. And then they just roam around, and, like, students will, like, give them Chick-fil-A.
Okay, so
Like,
how
that was me. I gave them.
Okay, how many do you see like if we're just walking to class?
I think it all depends on where you're going because there's certain areas the cats don't hang around. But if you're walking in the high traffic cat areas, they don't like to hang around those parts. But there's like the food, like there's this one place where all the food is on campus.
Looks way.
Yeah, and all the cats like to hang out around there. So I'll probably see like 3 or 4, like just as I'm
hanging
walking
around.
down. Just yeah,
That's
they're
so
just
cool.
there. So
Are they all like the same like breed or whatever?
I have no idea. I think they're all. Just
Well, I mean, like, are they different colors?
Yeah,
What's their
like-
genealogy, bro?
I'm not in the cat club. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm a dog guy. I'm more a dog person. But literally, they're all kind of different.
Oh, that's so
So-
cool.
I know you would like it. You'd probably like take one in and just adopt
I
it.
mean,
Oh,
probably
Someone
would.
did that actually. If you see it.
yeah, I'm not surprised, dude. The way that you're saying how many there are, like, people would definitely be doing that.
So,
And they're already vaccinated, so it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so
Free
funny.
cat, bro.
so I know cats are not a defining feature of Arizona, but Arizona's great. I love it.
Yeah.
So,
And what are you planning to do now? Because you're going back.
right. So just got my bachelor's degree in Christian ministry, and I'm heading back for 2 more years. I'm gonna get my master's of divinity. I'm in a 5-year master's program, so my 5th year tuition's paid for. So I'm gonna go back there, keep working
Yeah.
as a tour guide. Just gonna finish out school. It's good stuff. Hopefully
That's
run.
so fun.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And maybe run a marathon in December.
Yeah.
Getting back on the
Yeah.
running grind. So
December is the perfect weather.
Which
Yeah.
one?
it's the Tucson Marathon.
Oh, cool.
So
Cool.
that's my goal. But I've yet to run over like 8 miles in a very long time. So I'm gonna build my mileage back up and then do it. But
You're gonna
I
have
don't-
to.
yeah, I know. I'm planning on starting actual training later though. But it should be fun.
And you have to drive all the way down there.
The Tucson?
No, like for school, like for Arizona.
No, I didn't bring my car back, so I'm just gonna fly.
Oh, you're flying back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you
So-
think you could hop in a marathon cold, like if you wanted to, or not really?
No, I could. I think I could run a marathon right now,
Really?
but I don't think I would run it fast. Like I think I would have to go slow.
That's true.
But I could totally do a marathon. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people could, because
feel
you think about hear the stories about people who just do it,
Right.
who have no running experience.
And like think about like 4 years of running, 5 years.
Yeah.
Like doesn't just go away. you know?
Right. Or even more than that.
Or yeah, middle
We
school.
probably
too.
did like 10 years.
6th, 7th,
Yeah.
8th, and then all of high school,
in
and then
college.
yeah,
Like
so
the
close
base.
to yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I can definitely run a marathon, but I'm gonna train. We're gonna try and break 3 hours, qualify for Boston. Me and my roommate, which would be dope. That's
Yeah. That's gonna be sick. And what are you doing now?
I live. No, I'm just kidding. I do HVAC, so heating, ventilation, air conditioning.
Right.
I have one more semester left in like community college. I'm getting an associate's degree in it. So if I want to transfer out, if I want to do some other major, if I want to get an undergrad in something, I will have that opportunity. But for right now, I'm just doing HVAC. Yeah.
And I knew you were gonna do that, but what made you want?
I'm not
to do
sure I
that?
understand.
School's always pretty hard for me.
Okay, that just happened.
Yeah, I didn't really like school very much, and nothing on a 4-year college really stuck out to me. I was like, I don't really want to get an English degree, not do anything with it. Like, I don't want to get a communications major, not doing anything. I don't want to spend a lot of money and just like not like school. So I was like, oh, let's go to community college, and I had the opportunity to take an HVAC class through a wholesaler. It's like through a company basically. So I got all the experience in one summer of like, hey, this is basically what we do. I was like, oh, I could probably do this. So I just started going to college for it and just kept taking the classes. And at first, I was like, I hate this sucks. But then I got over it and I was like, oh, it's actually pretty cool. Like, I started to realize I was actually good at it. My teacher was just a jerk. Like, he was just putting me down. So once I figured out I was good at it, and then I got hired at a company, and I'm like progressing really well, I just kept doing it.
Cool.
And
My
what,
turn.
what are you doing?
Your turn.
I'm at North Central College. I'm gonna be a senior. Right now, I'm an insurance broker. At the same time, still running as well. But yeah, it's been pretty cool. Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
And me and you are still doing cross country for college.
Yep, still doing that in track.
And track.
1 more year left.
Yeah.
That's gonna be definitely a lifestyle change. Like once I stop, it'll be like not running every day. That'll be different for me. A lot more time. You know, I'll still probably run, but would you say that was like a difference for you? Like when you stopped, it was just like different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Because I used to run in college as well, and I've stopped for the past 1.5 years. I'm kind of getting back into it now.
Right.
It is so weird, like just not having to run every day. I was kind of relieved because I was getting burned out from the sport, so it was kind of nice to have a break and a rest. It was like a good change for me, but I don't know. Now the fact that I'm already back to it, like I've kind of looped around, it's kind of hard to get away from it, I think. So
Yeah. For me, I think it's just gonna it's such a big priority for me right now. And I think that like once that changes, I'll have to replace that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be definitely an adjustment for me. But I'm enjoying it while I can. You know. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You gonna start lifting weights?
Maybe.
Get huge?
Yeah. I mean maybe I could. You know.
I could see
I
it.
feel like if we dedicated as much time to lifting as we did running, we'd all be just jacked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
Swole.
Yeah, like for real. But maybe, I mean, who knows? Or maybe I'll just work more. Maybe I'll keep running. We'll see.
It's still something you want to do though? You want to keep running?
I would say I'll run. Like I said, it won't be like the priority anymore.
Yeah.
Like now I put it ahead of so many other things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I'll run here and there for sure. Like it's a part of what I do. You know, it's fun. Like
Yeah.
So yeah, here and there for sure.
Is it a hard lifestyle change to like switch from running? Because we were like running every day. Are you like basically running every day right now?
Every day, yeah.
Yeah. So and are you? I mean, when you're healthy,
Yeah.
you're running. So it's like
Yeah, 6 days.
it's hard for me to shift that mindset to like, oh, I don't have to go and run every single day. I don't have to get out the door
Right.
and go like, I can just do whatever I want.
Exactly.
And it's weird. It's hard to like change. I don't know.
Yeah, or like even for me, it's just like there's so many things that I decide not to do so that I can run.
Yeah.
Like I'll decide, okay, I'm not gonna go to this place at some point. I'm not gonna go hang out with these people right now because I'm gonna go run instead. You know, like work out, put my time into my passion. Same thing with like there have been a lot of late nights this semester where I've had to like do a bunch of schoolwork. It's like 11 p.m. I still got to go do my run. You know, I get back at like
That's so
12:30.
late, dude.
Yeah, like not having that anymore, it'll just be like I'll probably be a lot more rested, to be honest.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
Those midnight runs.
Yeah. I mean, and granted, it's built my discipline. Like I choose to do those things. Like I really love it. I'm not saying it's something I don't want to do, but I mean, like it'll just be different. Like I won't have to do it anymore. Well, I won't. I don't have to do it now. I get to do it. I get to do it now. And and I want to do it now. But
Yeah, it seems like right now it's more like discipline versus like motivation.
yeah, well, I mean, I'm pretty motivated. Not gonna lie. Like I think about all my goals and just the process of it
Yeah.
while I run, like all the time, just replay it over and over in my head. But yeah, discipline. It definitely builds that for sure. So
You gotta be motivated getting back at midnight and being like, well, time to lace them up
Yeah.
and go back out there.
That's gotta be so tough. I could not do that because I know that just mess up my sleep so much.
oh yeah, you sacrifice your sleep. Like if you want to hit,
That's crazy, dude.
yeah. I mean, it's worth it though because it's rewarding. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like once you're done with that run, you're like,
Man,
You know.
4 hours of sleep, so rewarding.
I got you.
like it
That's so
just
fun.
yeah. I mean, it just makes you feel like you really accomplished something. Or for me, it does. You know,
Mhm.
like you can sleep knowing, wow, I really deserve this sleep. Like
That's
like,
fair. No. I
you
get
know
that.
what I mean? Like
It's hard to
I
sleep
totally get that.
sometimes when you're like, know that you haven't
Like,
done
yeah.
everything to prepare yourself.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I like it.
Yeah, or sometimes it'll feel like a wasted day, like if you don't do it, or if you don't do something that you wanted to do that day.
Right.
Um,
Definitely.
But I wanted to go back to that, the Chicago question that you asked about, like how often like do we go? Because we're about 40 miles from Chicago, but the traffic is so bad sometimes it could take like an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah.
But like, what do you think? Like, would you guys live in the city?
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
like actually like live there, or just do it for like a little bit, or
It's yeah.
do you
So like
being out here?
I think everyone could live in the city, but people don't realize how livable it actually is because you've been to the unlivable parts. Like the tourist spot, like where the Bean is and like that, like where Wrigleyville, like all that stuff. It's like super tourist, right? So there's not much to like live there. But where I go to church in the city now. So like that's why I always go there so often. It's in a pretty normal neighborhood. Like it doesn't feel crazy. Like yeah, there's like skyscrapers. You can see the Willis Tower and stuff. But it's like it feels normal. It feels chill. And once you meet people there, then it feels like home. Then like after church, we always go out and eat somewhere, and they know the spots, so it feels like super livable. I could live there. Would I? Maybe, but it's not where I want to be forever. So
Yeah. I'd say I same thing. Like I would. There's a lot there. So much opportunity, so much to do. Like I feel like it just wouldn't ever get boring. But like, is there anything pulling me to live there? You know what I mean? Like, I would have to have that. You know, because really I could live anywhere. I feel like.
even
There's-
Iowa.
Dude, I would love to live in Iowa.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be something that brings me there. You know,
Yeah. Nate's favorite state is Iowa, so
it's a great state. Yeah.
Cool.
it's
Lots
just
of
full of corn. You love corn.
Yep.
Okay, what about you?
Yeah, I totally live in Chicago. I love, like, GCU is basically like right outside of like downtown Phoenix and stuff,
Yeah.
and kind of pretty much in the city. I know Phoenix is just a very like wide like range of area and stuff, but I mean, right now I'm out in Arizona. I kind of gonna be out there for the next couple of years, but I totally live in Chicago. I think it'd be
Yeah.
cool. I'd love it. I like big cities.
Mhm.
It's good vibes, especially right now while we're young. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't know if I would like to live there, like, long term. I think I would want to live
Yeah,
there for
no
like 2 or
way.
3 years, just be like, okay, that'd be fun to live there. But I don't know. I feel like I think it'd be really cool because everything is so close, and I feel like you don't even like need a car.
Not really.
Like you basically
Yeah.
don't, because you can just walk like anywhere, depending like where you are.
public transit.
Yeah, do you like taking the L? Like that'd be cool
Mm.
for the train. But I don't know, to live there for like a long time, I feel like I would just get fed up with like everything. You don't think so?
I would. I couldn't live there forever, bro. Like it's gonna be like a little bit, but I don't want to. Also, Chicago's great, but it's also in Illinois. You know, like you gotta remember the winter. Like it sucks.
Yeah.
Like you can't just think about the summer. And
That's true.
I want to go other places. I want to go around the world. I want to go around the states. So
Yeah, that is true.
That's the most balanced statement I've ever heard.
Yeah,
It's still in Illinois.
Chicago's still in Illinois. You gotta remember.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, to me, once again, I'm almost like indifferent about it. Like, I think it's a great place. It's a fun place, but it's like, why would I go there? You know what I mean? Like, to live there forever. Like, what would pull me in?
Yeah, it just depends like what your job is, I guess.
That's true. Yeah, I feel like that's a big factor.
If you find a community there, then that's what pulls you anywhere.
That's true.
Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
like
Right.
if you live in the suburbs, like what's keeping you there? Do you really like the weather in the like you like the area in the suburbs? Maybe, but it's like people.
Yeah.
That's one
your
thing I've
family,
realized. Yeah, like
friends.
in Illinois, like no one's really like, oh, I really want to live in Illinois. No one like, oh, like I mean some people, but like it's the people that you find
People
that
are
makes
in
you want to
Illinois.
stay. So.
Yeah. Wait, so you're going to a church in the city now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called Soul City, and it's in the West Loop. So for me, it's like 45 minutes. It's like the drive in Chicago, it gets bad, but like you just maybe gets up to an hour with traffic.
Yeah.
You learn. It's
What?
fine.
So wait, why do you go that far? What's like so? You know, it must be a really special place if you go that far for church. You know.
Yeah, I remember in October, I was talking to my uncle, and he's like, "Have you ever tried finding a church just for you?" I was like, "That's the thing. I can do that." He's like, "Yeah, dude, you're like 18 now. Like, go for it." I was like 19, and he's like, "Okay." So I did. So October, I just went to a bunch of different churches, tried them out. I went to Soul City, and I was like, "Oh, like I love this. It's super diverse. It's pretty progressive. Like, it's a great community of people. I met old friends there, and now I hang out with them. Like, I'm getting connected in the youth and Alpha. It's like, it was just my
That's
church.
cool.
Yeah, it's just worth it. So.
Is it big or is it like a smaller church? Or?
It's not like a mega church, but it's not a small church. It's like the in between.
Yeah, I'm trying to
That's
picture
cool.
it. Like,
That's
is it like in the city, or is it just kind of like outside? Like,
Yeah, it's in the city. Like,
so it's just surrounded by like other buildings then.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just
that's
walk down a
cool.
street of like it's like apartments, and then
Yeah.
the building's just there.
Oh dang, that is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean it's not like an old church, you know, but it's like a newer, modern church, but
Kind of like Yellow Box, or is it different than that?
way different than Yellow Box.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
like it. Yeah, it's different than that. It's that kind of like
The building wise?
building wise, yeah,
Yeah.
but like the atmosphere and the people who are there are completely different.
Very different. Gotcha. Interesting.
That is really cool. But would you do that in the city?
Live in the city?
No, like a church.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like it'd be
I think
so
it'd be
much. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like I'd be like opposed to it, but like I feel like it'd be so much different than just one like in the suburbs.
It
where,
is.
where we are.
It's one thing I've noticed is like the diversity, and not in just like people, but like their thoughts too. It's like, I mean, you show up to church and there's like a lot of black people on stage, and in the audience, like lots of black people, lots of white people, Asian, Mexican. Like that's what it's like brings it home. I'm like, oh, this is everyone. Like everyone's here. Like this is just a bunch of white people. Like this is cool.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest elements. I think it would be really fun to go to church, like in a city. I think the diversity of thought that you were talking about is a big one for me, is having lots of, I think when there's diversity of thought, it causes critical thinking to happen in a deeper way. And I think sometimes when everyone is surrounded with the same kind of thoughts, less critical thinking tends to happen.
I agree.
It does create strength within the beliefs that are already held, which can be very positive sometimes. However, I think challenge is really healthy, especially in a church environment. So I think that's one of the benefits of living in the city is diversity of belief. Tons of different people from all kinds of different backgrounds.
Yeah.
I think creates a healthy church model if done right. So
I think a good like analogy for that is like exercise, where if you work the same muscle over and over, like you're strengthening that, kind of like what you said, you're strengthening like the core belief system. But if you're not doing any other exercises, then you're not strengthening other parts of your whole body, and your whole body's like I guess for this analogy, it could be like all of Christianity. Like you're only focusing on one part of Christianity, or you only feel like this. Then you're not really having the critical thinking of everything else. So if you're working everything or thinking about everything, that's where you're actually kind of expanding like your growth. That makes
100%.
sense.
And it's also like there's a community outside of just like the people. It's like it's Chicago. Like this is like Chicago family. So a lot of analogies they talk about like the weather in Chicago, and they get up on stage and they're like, "Oh, we fell in love with this city in Chicago." So it's like it's Chicago, right? Like you get this like pride in it. You feel like at home.
It's like sports, Chicago sports.
And it's like there's no church in like Oswego or Naperville that's like, we're in Naperville. Like no one says that, right?
Yeah,
it's
I
like
see
this
that.
is Chicago. So
Yeah, that's cool. I feel like looking at a lot of different kinds of churches has helped me expand as well. Like going to Protestant churches, Catholic churches, like community churches, just like the way that people worship. I feel like that's also helped expand my like viewpoint. Like
Yeah,
because
Absolutely.
there's just so many different ways to do it. You know.
yeah, because while everyone in Christianity like believes like most of like the same core things, everyone like practices it differently, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting to find out. And the same thing with just religion in general, like why people believe like certain things. I think it's cool for the same reason for different denominations. Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
It's been fun.
So would you move to the countryside? Or
It's just
no?
like
Like you move
like
to the
where
city,
like
but like rural Iowa. Would that be?
I would not move to Iowa
No.
in general. No Iowa. Maybe in like anywhere else.
Anywhere else. It's your worst state. It's your out of 50 states. It's number 50.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
I was about to say. I was like, dang, dude. It's like have fun in South Dakota.
Yeah, South Dakota's kind of cool.
What about North Dakota?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Nebraska.
Sure, dude.
Over Iowa?
Dude, what's in Iowa?
That's why I like it. It's, you can kind of just go.
What's
there
in
and
Nebraska?
save.
What's in the?
The roaming fields of Nebraska.
It's nice. I like that. You know, just like
Roaming cornfield. Yeah, I'm
It's
not
all
an
nature.
Iowa hater, but like.
It
sounds
sounds like
like
you
it.
are. You're like
I'm
it's
not.
the worst.
I didn't say it was the worst. I probably just want
You
to
said
move there.
Okay. I just want to find out which state you would least. live in.
Alaska. We go there.
No, not going to Alaska. I would go there. I wouldn't live there. I need I get vitamin D deficiency, so like I need like the sunlight. I'm too depressed.
Yeah.
Mm.
Would you go to Florida?
No, I don't really like Florida. It's really humid,
Very
crowded.
humid.
Just like the Midwest, except the crowded part. Just
Yeah.
humid here.
Nate, I think there's like 4 different maybe landscapes, I guess you could say, for like living in the United States. I think there's like the city, so just any big city, and then there's like on the coast, which
Yeah, for sure.
I know Chicago's not on the coast, but like it's on a body
Lake
of water.
Michigan, yeah.
So I would argue that would count as one. So I
I mean,
think
you wouldn't put it in city.
Huh?
You wouldn't put Chicago in city.
well, I guess those two are kind of the same because a lot of ones on the coast are gonna make the big cities. So okay, we'll say big city, and then
You can still
There's,
say
like-
coast. I mean, there's like New Hampshire, bro. Like that's on the coast.
That's a
right?
good
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so we
Or
can
like
say those.
California, you know, like a lot of houses on the coast, right?
There probably are houses on the coast of
Yeah,
California.
There's
yeah.
definitely
But
houses
like
there.
it's a hybrid though, because there's like the city. It's the city and the coast, right?
Which one?
L.A., San Diego.
Okay, we won't even say that as an option.
Okay,
we'll
I'm
say-
trying to get on track with
Okay.
Brad's thoughts.
Okay,
real quick.
ready? So there's a city, and then there's like a lot of openness, so probably like suburbs or just like Iowa, like
Yeah.
you're saying. And then there's like the in between, which is like anywhere out west, like Montana, Idaho, Colorado. I feel like there's that. So it's not really like necessarily big cities. Like I know there's big cities in those areas, like Rocky Mountains and that, but it's not like flat. You know, like when you think of like the Great Plains with like Nebraska, Iowa, or even just places like central Illinois, it's all just kind of like flat, you know. So I think there's flat, and then there's like city, and then there's the in between, which is like the wilderness sort of thing. I would want to be more in the wilderness side of things.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, because like
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
like,
I'd like that too.
yeah, like I've always wanted to go like out west or like go to Oregon or
I can see
something.
you there.
Um,
I can see you roaming around, checking out all the cool like nature spots.
Dude, I would totally be doing
Barefoot,
that.
all
I'd-
barefoot.
I'd be running around.
You need the
But-
spray on shoes from Cloudy with the Chicken
Oh
Meatballs.
my god,
That's
those
it.
shoes- dude, those look like they hurt so bad. Like,
Really?
I remember watching that movie and seeing him like walk around. I'm like, dude, that probably just hurts like your whole foot. So like your ankle, like that part of your foot.
Are they optimal running shoes?
What?
Spray-on shoes, are they optimal?
We don't need to get into the science of the spray-on shoes from Cloudy with a Chance of
I mean,
Meatballs.
wore him his entire life. They gotta be like optimal enough that didn't hurt his feet.
Maybe.
Maybe his feet just went numb. Like he doesn't have any nerves in there anymore. His are just like broken.
Oh my god. The
Anyway.
dark side of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. But
No, Nate, I don't think I would live like in like the Great Plains. If that's what you're saying by countryside, like just open road sort of thing, not many people. I don't think I would choose to live there.
Really.
It sounds like you would.
I'd live anywhere really, but yeah, I like the idea of just like having it be open and
Yeah.
nature. I would go with the wilderness too, like what you guys were saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd live anywhere though. Like I said, it depends on what's pulling you there.
Mhm.
Like
I agree
job
with that.
for you. You said like the people too. I'd go anywhere though.
I just think it's crazy that some people can just look outside their window and they have these mountains like everywhere, or there's just a bunch of trees and like
Yeah.
mountains.
Mhm.
And for us, it's just not like that, you know.
Oh yeah, and I feel like that's one great thing about Illinois. Like everywhere else you go, seems so cool. Like
that's
we don't-
actually facts.
We
though.
don't have
Yeah,
stuff. We
yeah.
don't have like. Well, I guess we have the beach if you go to some
The
places.
second
but-
flattest state in the U.S.
Yeah.
That's us.
Exactly. So
I thought of a good question for you guys.
Yeah.
So, over the past year, so think about like last summer. How do you feel like you've grown most? And what are some like key themes from this past year about how you feel like you've grown as a person? Or in just anything. So
Those are good. So any form of growth.
yeah, I can start while you guys start like thinking about stuff. I think for me, one of the areas I feel like I've grown most has been in just self-confidence, which is like a interesting thing in like kind of how you think about yourself and like talk to yourself. I like found out this past year that I have a really harsh like self-critic that's kind of been with me my whole life, and I've just kind of ignored it, but that didn't mean it goes away. So I think this past year I've really learned to like try and lower that voice in my head that like says just, I don't know, things about yourself that just aren't true, and
Yeah.
try to like step into yourself more. Because I know this is a season where everyone like obviously in college is trying to step into themselves and really like find out who they are. So I think that's been the area maybe I've grown most in the entire year, is being confident in who I am, like genuinely, and like listening to the voices of people around me. So
what do you think triggered it?
I don't know. Well, there would be two things. One, conversation I had with my dad when I came back for Thanksgiving this past year. I was in just like a slump. I don't know why, just in life, you know, sometimes you just hit slumps. And then I was just talking to my dad, and he was just, I don't know, he's really good at asking questions to help you like self-conclude things.
Yeah.
And then I
No,
just
he is good at that.
Yeah.
He is good at that.
So he just asked me questions, and I was like, oh wow, I'm really harsh on myself. And it was like, so for example, like even just the next day after I had that conversation, I was at the youth group at Westbrook, and I like gave just a short 10-minute
Westbrook's the
message.
church,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Westbrook's our church, for the youth group, and I got up and I like gave a short little message, and I just like got done, and I was like, I did horrible. Like I just was like telling myself like, no one understood, you sucked, like you were terrible, and like other people would come up to me and be like, Luke, like you did, like that was really good, like we enjoyed what you had to say. I was like, yeah, thanks, whatever. But I just could not get over, like I thought I didn't do good, I thought I was bad, so therefore it was, and that was a big hurdle for me to overcome and be like, no, like other people are telling you you did fine. It's like, listen to other people actually. Don't think that you're the only one. It's a very arrogant way to live life, is to go around and just beat up on yourself, which is what I learned, is like being negative to yourself is actually a form of just arrogance and pride, because who are you to go around and dictate everything
Yeah.
about who you are and saying you're bad, you suck. So anyways, I think that was something big hurdle for me to overcome. So now it's like, yeah, I could have done better. So anyways,
No, that's cool. And that's just from last summer to now.
yeah,
Basically.
that was,
Or you said it was technically November when you had the conversation.
yeah, I think it was like an ongoing growth
Okay.
kind of thing through the year. So if I look
Yeah.
from last year where I was to where I am now, I think that's probably the area that I've grown most in being like, oh yeah, no, just
Right.
own it, dude. Like you're awesome.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Right.
Don't worry about
That
it.
is
Like,
cool.
So I'm actually not as much being myself, more just believing that I'm like, oh yeah, people like you. It's like people want to hang out with you, stuff like that. So, anyways,
I think for me, I can see a little bit of a similarity of like, not so much like self-confidence. I mean, I think just everyone's kind of growing that like progressively. Like everyone's kind of at least going in some form of an upward direction in that, or if not, hopefully. But for me, at least, I think that's grown a little bit. But for me, it's more of just hitting like a new level of breakthrough for just not like caring what other people think. But in a healthy way, like especially in my growth of being a Christian, like I do have to care what people think about me because I want people to know that like I am a Christian. I don't want to just be doing whatever I want and then people be like, wait, what? Why is he doing that? You know?
Totally.
So there's a sense of like in general, you do have to care what people think, just because like you have to, and then also as a Christian, there's that. But in terms of like what I do and going up to people and like hanging out with them or talking to them, or just doing things I want to do, starting things up like the podcast or trying something new. Like I'm really just not like afraid of like failure anymore. Like I'm just trying out a bunch of new stuff, and I think that started probably going into the fall semester last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, like 9 months ago or so. And I think that was once I knew I was going to be at Western Kentucky, and like that's after having that first year out of the way, I think I was definitely just kind of ready to be like, oh, I kind of know how it's going to go. I know like where the buildings are. I know like how my life is kind of go,
right.
or how it's kind of going to go. So now at that point, I'm like, oh, sweet, now I can just kind of get settled in and try new things I want to do. And if you guys have known me, which you have, like I'm always down to like try new things and just kind of be spontaneous in that aspect. But I think I had a new like breakthrough of like, you know what, I'm just like specifically with relationships with people. Like I'm just willing to talk, hang out, do whatever with people. And I feel like I say that so much on the podcast, which is I just like talking to people. But I had like a whole new breakthrough, especially in around February or March. I just had another one going from fall of last year, so August, and then March were the 2 times where I just like exploded to be like, oh, I can just talk to this person, I'll talk to this group of people, just hang out, because I just kind of realized that like why would I hold back something that I want to talk to someone about, or something that I can learn from someone and then share with another person, or just like I'm trying to see it from like all perspectives of like how can I benefit like myself, which could be like a selfish point of view, but like how can I benefit myself, and then how could I use that information to tell other people about it, just whatever it is, whether it's Christianity or like I see there's free food somewhere on campus, I'll just go and start telling people, just anyone, like random people I see, like, yo, go get this like free food over here, or go do this, you can win like a raffle or something. So I'm willing to like be able to like talk to anyone, and it really like I love it, and I wish everyone had that like mindset. And like I'm not perfect at it. Like sometimes I just don't want to like talk to people. I think everyone has that where they're just like, I don't want to talk to people. Like, but a lot of the times I'm willing to do that more and more often, and I think that definitely helps because of the failure. Like I said, like I'll ask people questions. I'll see how things go wrong, and it might feel like awkward or whatever. But I've just grown to not even really like feel that as much. Like if something is like awkward to someone else, to me it's just not really that. I don't really even look at it as that. It's just kind of like, oh, that's how it went. Or like when Logan like slapped his watch or whatever, like it wasn't like I was like, oh my gosh, like his thing went off in my podcast. I just think it's funny. Like, okay, like that's fine, you can keep talking. Like I don't see things as like weird like that. But yeah, and then just going back to kind of sum all that up is like the failure aspect. Like I don't really see failure as failure anymore. I see it as growth, which I think everyone should do that. It's hard to, but like failure is just a part of things, or when things don't go the way you want it to, like that's just a part of any form of growth and change. So I think I've just definitely stepped into that of like, you know what, that's okay if something doesn't go the way I want it to, because there's always something else. So that's probably my biggest thing that I've grown in this past year or so.
We're locking in, boys.
We're locking in.
What about you guys? How do you feel like you've grown for the past year?
We'll take a moment of silence and we'll come back in. Then he'll ask. So he has a chance to like cut it in.
Well, but that's kind of what we already did.
Yeah, we already
We
we
did it.
did. This is all a lead up, an intro, and you guys saw the cut, right? You saw it. We already did it. So now it's awkward.
It's not.
I knew I was gonna say that. 'Cause I knew you.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think it is. I just think it's funny.
Because you were just talking about it.
Yeah.
Because that's why it's a callback to before.
Yeah, no.
Right.
So, Nate.
So, how have I grown in the past year? Is that the question?
Mhm.
Yeah. I would say that I've grown a lot as far as just learning more about myself. If that makes sense. Like, my coach told me that there's 4 stages of life that I can tell you guys
Oh
about.
man, wisdom right here.
I mean, it's my coach's wisdom.
Yeah.
His name's Alcarius. So,
Big Al.
yep. He's been very influential to me. But yeah, he says that the first stage of life is when you have your head in the ground. You're kind of just going through the motions, not really thinking. It's the ostrich phase. And then the second phase is called the cafeteria phase, where you're trying to figure out who you are, and you're like trying all these different things, kind of like at a cafeteria, you're trying all these foods. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at still. Like I was on a medical track for a while, and I've realized that that's not for me. And yeah, I'm just kind of figuring it out. Like I've switched gears, and having that off my shoulders is really, really nice. Because I don't know if you guys have ever been in a situation where you felt like you were like locked in with your future. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I felt. It was almost like a pressure to do that job, and I was like, but I've gotten out now, and yeah, I'm just trying to figure out more about what I should be doing with my life, career-wise, if that makes sense. You know, so I'm doing business, and I'm just trying stuff. So yeah, that's what I've learned about myself. We have this thing at my church. It's called Star Sunday, where every once a year we all get a star that has a word on it. It's a piece of paper, and it says a word on it that they want you to focus on. And my word this year was wellness, and they gave me like Bible verses revolving around wellness.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's another area I've kind of grown in, just like prioritizing recovering and not always working, and you know what I mean, just prioritizing like mental being in a good state and stuff. So I feel like, you know, when I read the Bible, I feel this like peace when I read it that I didn't used to, which I think God is kind of talking to me through that. Have you guys ever felt that? Like, like you'll open it up,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like, so I feel like that's been helpful to me, just learning about more who I am, trying to prioritize wellness. Those are the things that I've kind of moved in a direction towards this year.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So at the end of, so it's the end of the calendar year, the church would give you like.
They give us a word, yeah, like
And you said it's a star. Like, is it a button or a pin?
it's a paper star. It's like
Oh, it's big.
shaped. It's probably like, I mean, it's not big. It's like maybe the size of like your hand, like a
Oh,
star.
okay.
Yeah, and then it has people to pray for on it too,
Mm.
in the church. And then it has like some Bible verses, and you'll have a word. Like in the past, I had breath, and I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So like then I looked into it, like, okay, how does breath pertain to me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just a word you think about for the rest of the year, kind of.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that is
it's
pretty cool.
It's a cool thing. I like it a lot. You know, so
And everyone gets that.
everyone gets a star. So.
Dope.
Mm-hmm.
Be a bad Sunday to bring your friend to. You gotta pray for these people for the rest of the year. Oh, who's Jenny, man?
And then roped in.
Yeah,
God,
that's so fun.
Then no one would pray for them because they're new, and then they have a star, and then it's like the ratios unbalanced.
Yeah.
Everything. Star Sunday's over, God.
Yeah.
It's collapse.
Everyone's getting a star, and you're like, "Oh, it's my friend." You're like, "You don't get a star." Like,
You're
not
out.
allowed.
You're out.
Did you sign up? Did you register? Like, get a star. Didn't do it to Star Sunday. For me, like how I've grown in the past year, I feel like I've gone through a lot in the past year. So I've really been figuring out how to like find just like my self-worth in God instead of like other people and me. So like you guys were a big part of that. Like when my best friends and my close friend group, they all left, and I really prayed. I had an opportunity to go on a road trip with my brother, and we talked about life and God and what's going on. And I was like, I just want a community of people, and I got to hang out with you guys last summer, and that really brought me closer in my faith relationship. And I think I've just had a really deep and personal connection with God this last year, like figuring out a different way to read my Bible that's like in context and like really hearing God's word through that. And everything I do now, I don't just like praise myself for it. I never really have, but now I'm just like, God, thank you for letting me do this. Like I'm doing really well at work. Every day I pray, like, thank you that I can just like, wake up and do this. Like I want to make my acts known through like, make you known through my acts, right? And I also had a conversation with my old youth pastor when we had a chance to go to Asbury, and we were just talking about like what my ministry looks like, because I'm not going into ministry. My whole family kind of is going to aspects of that. I'm going into the trades. Like, what does that look like? And he just reminded me that like, no, like your life is your ministry. Like everything you do, like when you work hard, people realize that. And why do you work so hard? Oh, because my faith. Like, because God calls me to do that. That's my ministry. And I've really learned to find myself and find out like, no, God really does want to use me. And he's been opening up a lot of doors recently, and it's been a really cool opportunity just to be like, oh, God does want to use me still, even though I'm not doing this. So
yeah, I think a lot of people think they have to do like a mission trip, or they have to go do this or that, and like people are called to do those things, but like you can still like honor God while not doing that. Or like say like you can't make it to like church one day. Like it's not like it's like a big deal. Like it is if you like, you know what I mean? Like it is, but it's not. It's not like your whole
it's a workout.
Salvation
Your
depends
faith is a workout, and church is just an exercise too.
Yeah.
Like reading your Bible.
Yeah.
If you're reading your Bible and then praying and doing all this stuff throughout the week, and then oh crap, I can't make it to church because of this. Like you still worked out all week, right? Like just because you're not squatting one day, it's like you'll pick it back up.
Yeah, and that's what helps is realizing that you don't have to be like perfect in everything, or you don't have to do this or that. I think that's like one of the best things about God's grace is that like we already know we can't do enough, so like we don't have to have the pressure of trying to reach there because like Jesus paid it all, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, and that was a good word of encouragement for my dad not too long ago. He's just like, it's like I don't understand like the fullness of like God's love and grace and stuff. He's like, you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And like you can't. And I was just like, oh wow, that's actually kind of a relief.
Yeah, seriously, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know, for real, dude. I've had that too. Like thinking like, dude, I don't understand like why did you send your son to die like for me? Like it doesn't make any sense at all. And then I was like realizing that like I'm not gonna really fully understand until I am in heaven. Or even that might not even be like, well, no, I guess that would be answered. But like you just don't even know like the questions to ask, you know, and you won't even know the fullness of God and His love until like we're there in heaven. So it's kind of the mystery part of it, but it's cool.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like you know, since you're one of the few people in your family that aren't going into the ministry, it's you know, it's unique because I feel like in my life I've had pastors that are very, very effective, but just because you're not, like, there's so many people that we need not in the ministry to go out and do stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's what like been a huge encouragement to remind myself. And, like reminders, like you don't have to like be like your life is your ministry. Everyone has ministry. So.
Like imagine if every Christian was a pastor. You know what I mean? Like
who we preach to.
I mean, we need pastors, but it's
Totally.
So
no, I mean it's a matter of like, okay, what is ministry then? Like, what is ministry actually? Is ministry just something that the people that work at churches do, or the people that work in ministry organizations do, or is ministry actually the reverse, that's something we talk about a lot in studying, which is actually equipping saints for the work of the ministry. Where it's like actually the ministry for like people that work in the church is actually equipping their body, like the church body, to go and do ministry for others. That's ultimately what ministry is. So it's actually one of the most encouraging places to be, in my opinion. I would tell people is like, you get the chance to be on the front lines. It's like going out and like and making a difference and impact in the world. Like that's awesome. Like
you're a foot soldier.
Yeah, like if we were to use a war analogy, you get to go out there and be at the front lines.
Right.
That's awesome. Like that's a great place to be.
Okay, yeah. If there's nothing else, then yeah, that's all. This is The Right Track with Brad. We got Luke. I almost called you Logan. Nate and Logan. But yeah, thanks for just hanging out and joining on. I know this was kind of like a random, like free-flowing one, but I think I wanted to try that out to see like if we can just sit down, not even have any topics, just talk about whatever.
It was cool that like we started out kind of like crazy, but at the end like we hopped on like the right track of conversation.
Oh,
so like
that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, that's it.
Do you do a thing where you like make sure to like and subscribe?
No,
Make sure to like, subscribe.